Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the Guitarpick. The new frame that I'm working on in collaboration with NJTech. I briefly showed you this frame in my RPM filtering video. I just wanted to go over a few more details with you today. So you can see here I've got two different setups, or at least there were two different setups. Before I rebuilt this one, I thought I would make this video quickly. So this one here I've set up for 2 to 2.5 inch props. These are the little HQ quad blade 2-inch props that I really like. So the main feature of the Guitarpick frame is that it has dual mounting holes, so you can choose whether to use the inside ones and have some motor protection there, and you can run up to 2.5 inch props using those ones, or you can extend the motors out onto the extra hole there, and you can fly 3-inch props. So why didn't we just leave it as one arm end at 3-inch? Well, the main reason for that is because I quite like running 2-inch on 2S, and when you run little 2-inch props right out here, the quad is still quite big, and I just wanted to make it a lot smaller. So I wanted to make a 2-inch frame. NJ wanted a 3-inch frame because he really likes these bi-blade 3-inch props and just cruising around and doing smooth freestyle. I wanted something a bit more rapid, a bit more speedy, and I really like high KV and the smaller props with more blades. Just seems to fly. You can just whiz around a lot more. I find it a lot more fun. The 3-inch bi-blades are still, they're still good, and they obviously produce a lot of thrust, and they spin up really fast, so they do fly great. We ended up settling on just having both options, and as you can see, you can run the outside. On this one I've been running the outer holes with 2.5 inch props. They bring out very slight different flight characteristics, so depending on what setup you're running. This one, the motor wires aren't really long enough to even extend them out to the end holes, so depending on what components you've got or you buy to build with, this frame will give you a few options and different ways to use them, really. This one is running a Crazy Bee board that only has the plugs, so you have to use motors that have got plugs as well, so that's why this setup is like that. A lot of people will be taking and cannibalizing other quads to build up this frame, I imagine. That's what me and NJ have been doing. So we've designed it so that it can work with as many different components that are on the market at the moment. So the TPU pods that are going to be available, there's going to be 2 different pods available. This one here is for a nano size camera. I've got the nano racer in there, and then this pod here is for a micro sized camera. So the reason why I did that is because these have got so much power that you can quite easily run a micro camera. They're only a few grams heavier than these nano cameras, or if you add another few more grams, you could run something like a Micro Eagle and get a really good FPV feed out of it. There's these little pods, they're not that hard to design, and obviously there's loads of different ones on Thingiverse that you can download and print yourself, and I'm going to be designing different ones for different cameras as they get released. And yeah, that's one of the cool things about this toothpick class, is that it does just use a little TPU canopy on top of the stack, and makes it really flexible for different components. This one here was running my micro camera, and right there, as you can see, just before I take it all apart, is running the NamelessRC all-in-one board. I really like this board. It's so much easier to work with than the Crazy Bee board. You get the option to fit plugs, and it comes with plugs as well, but the fact that you can just direct solder the motors on there is just so much easier. All the pads are on the top and the bottom exactly the same, so like this setup here, I've got this crappy old VTX and a micro Crossfire, and I wanted them both underneath the stack, just the stack on right on the top. That's the setup I chose, and that meant that I could just solder both of those things to the bottom, shove them underneath, put the stack on top, and the only thing I need to solder to the top is the camera wires. This just means that you haven't got wires coming out and round and from the top to the bottom. Depending on where you want to put the components, you can just solder to the top or solder to the bottom. So same with the motor wires, you could solder them to the top and the bottom. I've done mine nice and tidy and put them underneath. As it was going to be raised quite high, it just made sense to have them underneath so they weren't hanging out here. But if you were slamming the FC right down as low as it can go, you could just solder the motor wires on top, keep them really short, and they would hold the board down in place as well. So again, there's lots of different options for that. The Guitarpick is going to come with this TPU piece here that has these risers, kind of built-in standoffs. You can just trim that down. It comes with 2 different bolt lengths as well, so depending on how high you need to make the stack, you can adjust it to work with whatever components you're going to be using. This one is the one that I put the RPM filter in on, and then realized that you had to use a different one than it said was on there. Hopefully everybody caught the warning in the video description. But yeah, I've put the PH-90 firmware on here, the Jazz Maverick one, and it's flying great. I really like how it flies. I mean, you can tell the motors are just coming down icy cold. I mean, I know it's cold outside, but if there was any issue with filtering and it was going into the PID loop, the motors would get hot straight away. The only motor that got hot is this one because I flew it straight into a wall and broke it. So yeah, for building up a Guitarpick, I highly recommend getting one of these all-in-one boards rather than a Crazy Bee. I've actually got a 25% off discount code in the video description that you can use to get a cheap one from Banggood, but they're also available from Drone Junkie here in the UK. If you want to get one next day delivery, he's always really quick at shipping them out. I actually destroyed the one that I got sent from Banggood, and I couldn't be bothered to wait for the new one, so I bought one from him as well. So yeah, a little bit more money, but you get it next day, so it's worth it if you ask me. I don't mind supporting UK retailers as well. Don't buy everything from Banggood, but obviously things are cheap from Banggood, especially when you've got a 25% discount. Yeah, so I'm going to be rebuilding this one now with a Runcam 3 split nano whoop edition, whatever they call it. Runcam split 3 nano whoop edition. So this board fits in the stack, and I'm going to put that on the bottom, I think. Haven't fully decided yet, but obviously with this board, because you can solder to the top of the bottom, I can just have this underneath and going straight into the board, and then maybe I'll have it come out here and into the VTX and sending it out, and tuck the Crossfire in underneath. Just gonna look over it now and see which way it works. So yeah, basically that's the Guitarpick. This frame will be launching at the start of the new year, so keep an eye out on the channel for that, and on the Facebook group. Make sure you go and join the HaloRC Facebook group, because I'll be posting things on there. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks guys.